Good morning or good afternoon, pending where you are. I'm Joe Launtner, and this is your Tech Home Builder webcast. Today's webcast is going to be a little different, a little less about bits and bytes, and more about a really high aesthetic feature for home, and that's outdoor lighting. With me today, I have two folks that I've known for an awfully long time. We're going to cover a variety of topics here. We're just going to get right into it. And Lauren Lautner from Four Seasons Eco Design and Sean Curran from BTI Lighting. I know them both well. I'll let you figure out how I know Lauren Lautner. And Lauren, welcome. How are you? Tell us a little bit about what you do at Four Seasons.
Great. Well, I'm a landscape designer with 30 or so years of experience, working primarily with high-end residential properties. However, I do work with some developments, one developer and a lot of his developments. I work primarily on the North Shore of Boston, and for the last 8 years also in Northern California. And I do a lot of large-scale master planning and almost always incorporate landscape lighting in the project.
And how do you typically get connected with the project? Are you usually brought in by the homeowner, builder, architect? What's your path into these projects?
If the project has recently been new construction or a house renovation and there's an architect involved, I do get recommended by architects often. However, more than 50% of the projects don't involve an architect, and it's just a homeowner ready to do their landscape rejuvenation, and finally it's time. Or, you know, like right now, people are spending more time at home. What else can we do? We don't use our yard. We'd love to use it. You know, we want a patio, we want a pool. We don't like the parking situation. So then I get called in and there isn't an architect involved. So it's a little bit of both.
So with all of the projects that you do, how often are you actually including or incorporating outdoor lighting?
It's always part of the discussion, and I would say 80% of the projects get lighting added on. Clients will often bring it up to me, not realizing how attainable it is. They'll say, "Ooh, could I have lighting?" If they don't bring it up, I'll usually say, as part of the initial interview with them, would you like to consider landscape lighting? And that gets people very excited.
All right. Sean, tell us a little bit about your background. How'd you get involved with landscaping and lighting, and also water features? I understand you guys are involved with.
Yes, we do quite a bit. We do 50-50, probably lighting and water features, and started with a family landscape company, and did my first lighting job in 1988, and came from a Nightscaping catalog that my father had attained through some conference or whatnot. And so I ordered up some lights through California Landscape Lighting, and off I went. And the first job I did was all the aluminum fixtures and all the wrong bulbs and all the wrong effects, but I learned quickly, and then got
That's great.
Hooked up with Nightscaping people, and then met Lauren in 2000, right. And we've been together for 20 years doing landscape lighting.
And you are past president of the Association of Outdoor Lighting Professionals. What's that group about?
That group is 150 or so contractors nationwide, and manufacturers, distributors, and some educators that were all bound together through standards and education and networking. So it's been a good group of people, and it's a good organization, and I'm happy to be part of it. I was past president in 2007 and head of certification, and CLVLT, which is Certified Low Voltage Lighting Technicians. And that program has given about 150 certified contractors over the past 16 years. So we're proud to be part of that.
So Lauren, you mentioned that it's part of your discussion with homeowners, and some ask about it. I assume some you introduce. You know, how's that conversation go? How do you get people excited for outdoor lighting?
Sometimes we talk. Usually they've seen it somewhere, but more often they see it in like a commercial application. So it's important to kind of bring it home and just talk about how it might work at their property. So they have a set of lights or they actually just bought a new house and it's kind of in the woods and it's dark and they don't feel like they're comfortable being outside. This adds comfort to being outside. But in addition to that, it's when you look outside your windows, and that's often overlooked, that you actually can be inside at night and enjoy your landscape lighting because it's a view from your kitchen window. You're doing the dishes, there's a kitchen window and you look out into this vast darkness normally. But if you have birch trees out there that are uplit, or a vista almost with like a walkway off, or you're looking down your driveway and you actually see something, it really expands that enjoyment. The same is true. You could be looking across a room out a window and have some trees lit up and it looks just beautiful. So it's almost like a live picture outside.
Got it. So Sean, what are the types of fixtures that are on your palette with which you both can design?
We use uplights, which is a bullet fixture that would use a multitude of different lamps of different color and wattage and beam spread. The larger the fixture, of course, the larger the bulb for more light. And we're getting down to very small niche fixtures now. One's called a mini beam that we've just discovered. And that can be hid in many different places. It comes on either a stake or it can be screwed to a deck. Very small, something hidden. So we can get effects in small areas and on small objects as well as large. Path lights, area lights, typically 18 to 24 inch adjustable. And those are good for in between beds or along walkways for traversing. And then the down lights are a different version of an uplight with a longer cowl on the front, so we don't have the same amount of glare. And then it's usually small fixtures that would either be on a wall or, on the side of stairs or posts. Sometimes we have to get into posts, which brings up, getting in with the contractor early so we don't have to work magic after the fact. We can actually get there as they're building, and it costs less for the contractor or the homeowner at that time.
So it's hard to believe that in 1988 you installed your first outdoor lighting system when you were 10. And tell us about the technology changes over the years.
Back then in 88, when I was 10, incandescent bulbs, halogen bulbs, these bulbs would get so hot you'd burn your fingertips off and you couldn't touch the bulb, or your oils would screw up the halogen cycle of the lamp. We don't use aluminum fixtures. Aluminum fixtures in New England, due to the acidic soil and the salt content of the air around the coast, these aluminum fixtures just weld up and they don't last and they deteriorate. So everything's brass and copper now. And the LED, of course, has, made technology just come very, very fast, where we don't have to have large transformers of 600 and 900 watts anymore. Our average transformer is 120 to 180 watts now. And the average bulb is between 2 to 9 watts. So, a 180 watt transformer can accommodate many lights, and we can also add at any time, with the LEDs.
And so when Lauren comes to you with a design and she says she wants, colored lights everywhere, lit up like Logan Airport, what kind of control do you have over color temperature and the RGB effects of lights now?
There's a few companies that are selling what's called integrated LEDs, where that you cannot change the lamp, but built in is an adjustable lamp, and adjustable color, and adjustable output. So what they're trying to do is limit the amount of fixtures in the warehouse in the distributors. So you have one fixture, you can turn that Kelvin temperature from 3,000 down to 2,200 or anything in between. You can go from 2 watts to 7 watts, or you can go from 15 degrees to 100 degrees.
So Lauren, with your Four Seasons ecological landscape design, there's not probably a lot of color lights that you're recommending. What do you prefer when you're doing your designs?
Oh, you're right. I don't go for the colors. I think that part of the beauty is highlighting if it's the color of the stone or the color of the bark or the color of the leaves. Sometimes we're working with purple foliage, or when plants are right now, there's a lot that's in bloom that's white. And when those plants are lit, it's like a moon glow. It's really spectacular. So I tend to stay with the I won't call it natural light, but the yellow soft lights that show the colors of what we're highlighting, not changing the color. But I know that Sean, when he's done some water features, there's nothing really there that you're featuring other than water, and that's been fun. People can change colors in that, and get a little entertainment out of a water feature.
Well, there's a ton of technology, LED lighting technology, both for inside and outside. And I know firsthand that the primary benefit is controlling the color of that temperature, and getting something that's just comfortable and bright when you want to be awake and a little more tame when you want to relax. But the colors are fun. You have a Super Bowl party and your team's in there. Let's light up that place with your colors. So you got a lot of options there. So the design process, Lauren, when do you start that conversation, and how do you look at a property, and what are you trying to light? I've seen you pointed out in the past when a home is overlit.
Right.
How do you start that conversation, and then maybe Sean could talk about how easy it is to add stuff over time.
Right. Well, this design that is up on the screen now, the driveway entrance is to the right. There's a circular drive to the house. And if you can reference that, then there's a pool and terraces on the other side. And when you look at something like this, if an architect's involved, they'll often say, let's do a lighting plan, a landscape lighting plan, the same way they would do a lighting plan for an interior space. And although that's a great idea and we can do something very general, we're going to uplight some feature trees here and there and some steps and a walkway. The truth is, landscape lighting, as long as conduits are put in place during the landscape construction process, under walkways and through walls, we really don't know what we want to light. The homeowner doesn't really know how much light, how many fixtures they want until the landscape's installed. And once it's installed, we go and we do a nighttime demo. And then Sean shows them, this is how this can look lit up, and this might be how you get through here and safely walk through these stairs. And people love it. Sean's got a great line that says, the landscape lighting sells itself. I try to help people with a budget at the beginning, because there is a price per fixture installed that we work with. And so we can give them an idea if you do this many fixtures. But we also encourage them not to overlight and that you can add fixtures in the future. There's usually plenty of room on the transformers.
Yeah. Well, you've talked about how you can connect the indoor space and the outdoor space. And right now, people are trying to maximize what they do at home. And how do you bring the outdoors in and the indoors out so that there's some continuity between those two environments?
Well, if you're cooking outside, which a lot of people are, it's not just a summer thing either. Grills and grilling outside is people like to do it year round. So adding some bistro lights, there are some actual grill fixtures that attach to grills that Sean has added, but we accommodate that quite a bit. Also, if there's games, bocce courts or something that we've been installing lately, and you can do small, I'll call them rope lights underneath, that really highlight this play space. And then, of course, dining. People like to be able to see what they're eating. You don't want it to be overlit, but if you can't see your plate, that's difficult. And candles go only so far. So the bistro lights are really helpful for that, in addition. And again, I got to say it, when you're inside looking out, it's so beautiful, whether you're out there or not.
Sure. Right. So, Sean, other than the fact that there's typically beer and wine served during the demo because the demos are at night, how do you make that work? How do you show someone a fixture at night before you got a system installed?
We use battery packs. I use very small battery. Again, these LEDs can be lit from 9 to 25 volts now. So a small 9 volt battery can light these up. So we carry a small battery pack, I do, and then we have 4 or 5 different fixtures. And We have a few different bulbs that we can put in if it's too bright or too dim, but we usually know beforehand, the size of the focal point that we want to light. How reflective is the leaf material? Is it an evergreen? Is it a deciduous tree? So we walk around, we show people, and I'll just walk up and just start placing fixtures in certain areas, and we like to show different effects with the one fixture I have lit at that time in that area. So I'll say, this is, how many for the path, how many for this, and people go, wow, ooh, and you hit the chimney, and then you think outside the box. They're thinking of a couple lights to get us down the walkway, and then the rest be darkness, which we're trying to build a picture for them. And that's why we say, if it takes more fixtures in the future for you to live with a foundation of lighting first, that usually gets them at ease. And then they'll contact us and say, we want more. We've figured out this.
And you can cut that in, right? This stuff's installed, is it serially installed? Therefore, you can just add another fixture somewhere?
Definitely can. I use a thick enough wire. I use a 12-2 wire, which can hold, 100 watts per 100 feet.
Do homeowners typically want more light or less light than you think they should have?
I think it's just right. I can't say. Usually it balances itself out. We have some people that they want very dim. They're afraid of their friends saying, oh, this is Disney World. We hear that word at every place. We don't want Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put the lights in, and then the plant material matures, and everything gets grown over and dim. And then everyone's, as we get older, our eyesight in the darkness goes away. So I'll go back and relamp a lot of these lighting systems with, almost twice the watts we started with, because things have grown and they're, and they need that extra light. So it's very easy with a non-integrated fixture to up that lamp without getting rid of the whole fixture itself.
Got it. And so for standalone controls, you got app control for lights, and what does the app allow a homeowner to do with their lights?
We have a couple different apps now. We have one called a smart socket, where I'll put that preferably outside the metal box, because the Wi-Fi kind of slams the door shut on the metal. But anyways, the smart socket can be linked to your phone and linked to your Wi-Fi, and that can be on and off at any time. Cannot be dimmed, but it can also have a timer set up to that, multiple times on and off. And then the other app that we have is a low voltage Wi-Fi dimmer, zone dimmer for 200 watts. So you can put 200 watts through this, and you can tie it to your Alexa or your Google, voice activated speaker, and say, dim my bistro lights, dim my patio lights, dim my pool lights. And it will dim those in increments, voice activated through Wi-Fi.
And I know that over the years, having been involved with the integration of third-party control systems and lighting, that's possible too. So you can take the same lighting control system that's inside Lutron or Vantage, you can control your outdoor lights. And I know that we've done some things where typically you'll wire lights back to a transformer based on its location to where the lights are. So you have one on the east side of the house, one on the west, maybe one on the north. And with controlling, and so when you turn a transformer on, all the lights on that side of the house will come on. I know there's some tactics where you can actually wire all your pathway lights back to one transformer, and all your up lights and your down lights or object lights, and you have some fun with controlling the groups of lights. So you can have all your pathway lights on maybe overnight, so you have that safety, but then from dark till 11 or 12, you can have your other lights. So there's some flexibility there too. So really, we've got some images here that I thought we would talk about, and just maybe feature some of, or talk about some of the design elements here. Lauren, why don't you start with this one?
Yeah, that's a really effective. First of all, it's a beautiful design, but a very effective lighting scheme, because the walkway and the steps are lit. As this environment gets darker and later into the night, you're going to be able to see clearly where you're going in either direction. But the trees, the few feature trees, not too many, have been highlighted and uplit, and you get a really cool branching pattern. I notice off to the right, there's the ledge is lit. That's another feature that's really cool. I mean, just to highlight the natural elements. of a property. But more than anything, everything you want lit is lit, but you really don't see where the source is coming from. And that's very successful, to not see a lamp or a bulb in your face, but to just have everything you need lit with no real understanding of where it's coming from.
It really makes me want to walk up to the top of that and see what's up there too. It really draws there. How are we lighting those trees? Is that from the bottom, the top, both?
Yeah, well, that house is really heavily lit itself. So if that wasn't so lit, you'd see a lot more of what the landscape lighting is doing. But this is both uplit and downlit, because if you look at that driveway and you see the shadows from the branching of the trees, that effect is called moonlighting. And it's lit from above, but you get the trunk of the trees from the uplights. And probably with such mature trees, those are lit on more, it's lit from more than one side.
I love this shot. It really gives some depth to that area. Sean, you were talking about, people wanting to see the perimeters of their property. How do you do that with lighting? Well, how can you help?
Yep. You light where you want people to go, and you light the the outside areas of your property. So when you're socializing, people aren't looking into an abyss of a darkness, wondering where can they venture to. And this is very inviting. You have moonlighting coming out of the tree, very soft. And moonlighting is the only natural lighting that we do have. And then your uplights are setting a boundary to where the socializing is.
Sure. And I can see too, in a production or a development where you've got common areas and you've got areas where people may not want to go. Maybe it's trash storage and you want to lead them towards the tennis courts or the pool or a clubhouse or something. Lighting can really help lead that way and be a guide without having lots of signs and someone there pointing in a direction. If it's done well, I think it does a great job of that as well. Yep. So I love these tiki lights. Sean, how do these things work?
They're set high so that we have a lot of light coming off them, and they get above any type of flammable material or for the kids to be harmed by. So that's why you usually see them about 6 feet tall. Citronella chamber at the top with an adjustable wick, and then your low voltage light underneath with an LED that spreads softly around the base. And,
Got it.
These are big sellers. We sell more of these on the East Coast than they do on the West Coast, I'm told by the manufacturer. Just out of the Northeast.
All right. Well, so you've got the traverse light and areas to sort of get your feet, know where you're going, but you've got the natural flame. I think that's a great combination. And so these holiday lights here, are these low voltage? Can you have low voltage holiday lights? How do you can connect those two?
Those are not low voltage. There's a few path light fixtures you can see in front of this hedge. That's low voltage, just path lights. But all of those Christmas lights, I don't believe there are Christmas lights now that are low voltage. I don't believe the industry's gotten into that.
Okay. And so, Lauren, I'm going to jump forward to this one because this is two trees with sort of a different approach based on the type of the tree. Talk about the design on those.
So it's two very different effects, even though you're uplighting a tree, which you would think is the same. One has to do with the type of tree itself. The birch trees to the right are multi-stemmed, much wider, have a lot of smaller leaves, both in the interior and exterior. The maple tree on the left is a broader tree. The trunk is featured. The branching pattern of that trunk is featured. Also, the birch trees on the right are young, and the maple tree on the left is a more mature tree. So the one on the right has a single fixture uplighting the multi-stem feature and getting all that branching pattern and all that leaf surface from inside. The tree on the left, the mature maple, probably has 3 fixtures per tree on all the different sides that you see this tree from. You're seeing it from the house, the front door looking out. You're seeing it from the driveway coming in. And then you're seeing it from the whole yard and landscaping to the left. So that tree has 3 lights, giving it that really full dimensional, 3D dimensional look as you see the plant. And they're both really effective, but you treat them differently.
What's it going to look like in the winter?
Oh, they're gorgeous in the winter. I mean, if a large branched tree like that will have snow after a fresh snowfall, will have snow along the branches, and that just because of its white appearance, and it's just gorgeous how it glows. But the other trees were birch, and they have a beautiful bark. So you see that bark in the winter, and you see the branching pattern there too. That's really unique.
So Sean, here's a way to light some stairs, and you've got things on the right and the left. Why didn't you get maybe some of those lights, those footlights under the step itself?
Well, this was after the fact. I came in, we weren't there before the design or even with the contractors. So this was what I thought would work to light all the stairs. Without having path lights and things that you look up into. So usually if we can get there with in the beginning, we can incorporate conduits and means of getting power up underneath those treads and things.
So like anything, if the builder or the architect or certainly the landscape architect, if they're engaged with the homeowner early, then the builder can plan for not only getting conduit to areas that you'd want light, the mason can put some conduit in there to get those footlights in there. And also the electrician can bring power to the location of the transformers. All things that will integrate and connect all the trades to really deliver a powerful solution for the homeowner. I love this grazing effect. In the daytime, you see those rocks. At night, you can really, those shadows really make that stone pop. Those are all done from the bottom, Sean?
Yes. Yep, from the ground. Well lights that are recessed.
And how'd you get those into that flagstone or the bluestone?
I have those cut by a company that has a laser cutter. They cut steel and they cut stone. So an 8-inch circle, and then we just recess the fixtures in there so no one trips on them when they walk by.
And you've got waterproof lights for things like ponds and other features that might get real wet in the rainy season.
IP68. Yep, it's waterproof. So
this is nice. It's got a nice. It draws you over to certain locations. You're integrating. You get the pool, the lighting in the pool. You got some grazing on the wall. These are all really pretty. Is this one of your projects, Lauren? Or
no, this is
off the.
This is a project that I had over in Manchester. The sea right over by the town park.
And was this something you were brought in after the fact? So this is like a retrofit solution?
There was some lighting there, and I added quite a bit.
Got it.
To it, I added all the wall lights and all the path lights and the up lights in the trees.
Okay. So you really can do a lot after the fact as well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we covered a bunch of stuff here. I think the takeaways for me is, like anything, get the conversation going early. Builders, make sure that you know what the plans are for the landscape and the outdoor lighting. I don't think this is rocket science, but I think the options of getting conduit to locations, getting lighting integrated to masonry work, it's critical to do that early. It's not a big investment, but it opens up endless potentials down the road. And Sean, I know that the OALP that's the website. They have
AOL
Association
of Outdoor Lighting Professionals.
AOLP
online.org.
And they can connect builders with lighting contractors. So, you likely have a relationship, but if you don't, that's a place to go check it out. So I want to thank you both for taking the time today to work with us on this. It's a great topic. Production builders, custom builders, integrators. This is a great category for wowing your customers. And thanks again for your time. And hopefully we'll see you on another one of these on another topic.
Very good. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.